Greetings from the Erie Coast, this is Matt Shad. And this is another episode of the Zoot Report, Sunroof Edition. Haha. Let's get into this, shall we? Oh, man. It is a beautiful day here in Northeast Ohio. It is 75 degrees. It is extremely cloudy. We'll see here in a minute. It looks like it's going to rain. They're talking about thunderstorms and all kinds of shit. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. We shall see. We shall see. There might be rain. So the Sunroof Edition might be locked. Man, how y'all doing today? It's Friday Eve. Friday Eve. Yep. Thursday. Thor vigi me, Thor bless on this wonderful Thursday. I'm out of here. Wow, fuck yeah. I'm done. And yeah. So what I'm going to talk about today is something I call what am I calling it? I had a name for it, damn it. Prepper fitness. Yeah, prepper fitness. Preparedness, fitness, prepper fitness. What does it take, physically wise, to be a prepper? And I thought about this for a while. And it was something I've been, that's what I've been working on all my life, trying to keep my standard up, I mean, long gone are the days when I used to, run a consistent 17, 18 minute mile or 3 mile. I don't know what my 3 mile would be now. I look at the PFT of the old Marine Corps. I think 80 setups in 2 minutes, 20 pull-ups in less than 2 minutes, some shit like that. So I don't know. Shit, I can't even tell you when's the last time I did a pull-up. I could probably do about 3 or 4 pull-ups. I don't know. I think I tried doing pull-ups a couple months ago. I was able to get 1, and then 2 with some strain, and then 3 like really had to work at it. So yeah, I really do need to work on my pull-ups. But push-ups, I don't know. I can do a few. I do a few. I do them from time to time. But I mean, that's good. Pull-ups. What do you need to be a prepper as far as like physical fitness? Well, if you're going to be bugging out, hiking, you got to be able to have some good endurance. If you're going to put on your bug out bag and go walking, hiking, bugging out, that's imagine walking all day, maybe you stop and camp for the night, maybe you walk all night and stop and camp for it all depends. I mean, what kind of bug out are you doing here? Are you doing spicy camping bug out? That's a little bit different, because now you're talking about uneven terrain, thick brush. It's going to slow you down, and it's very taxing. And it might take you a few days to get to where you're going. You know what I'm saying? If it's in a non-permissible environment, it's probably going to be longer, a lot longer. Because now you gotta mitigate risk, and you gotta do some different kind of hiking. You gotta do some recon, some recce. You gotta escape and evade kind of shit. So it's gonna be more taxing on you. You're gonna have to be consuming water and food and carrying all that weight. So your hiking skills in rough country are going to come into play. Most people can do it without any kind of difficulty, to tell you the truth, if you go slow, right? Go slow, try not to break an ankle, try not to hurt your back, kind of shit. But, you know, you got to be in really good shape to be able to hike. After about the first day, you got it. It's a way of life for you. Your body says, oh, shit, this is what it's all about. Okay, fine. Right? And so you're going to be doing a lot of walking. So I hope you walk already. You know, and I'm not talking just, hey, I did 536 steps today. You know, I'm talking about how many miles can you travel in a day with 20, 30, 40, you know, whatever your pack is, right? You know, what's your bug out backpack? Mine's about 57 pounds. And that's just one of them. All together, all my gear is like 120 pounds. So, if I got to carry all that shit, my first day is going to suck. Because I already know, I go as fast as I can. Fast as I can on easy terrain. And then it just starts getting slower and slower from there. And I might have to cache shit, come back, cache, come back. You know what I'm saying? If I'm doing it by myself. So, damn. I mean, I got to be in some really good shape. I'm going to have to really work on my caloric activity, caloric intake, and water. Lots and lots and lots of water. So carrying heavy things and walking long distances, you got to be in good shape to do that. I mean, it's a major stress on your body. I have seen, and you got to take care of your feet. I mean, so there's a lot of, but we're just focusing on the physical aspects of being a prepper, and that's the most obvious, right? So, you know, get out there with your backpack. You know, get out there in some rough terrain. You know, walk around, hike around. If you have to, do it without your backpack. And then later on, do it with your backpack to see how much it sucks. It can be really hard doing rough terrain with a backpack and trying not to hurt yourself. It's quite the challenge. Because you want to go fast, but you can't. You know, you really can't. So carrying heavy loads on a bug out on a hike, that's going to be, you know, the more you can carry and the faster you can go, the longer you can go. That's what you're looking at. So you need strength, you need endurance, you need good stamina, you need some great cardio. You know, you're trying to walk, you're trying to create distance, you're trying to get somewhere. Skull, by the way. So another thing, I mean, hiking is one thing. What about running? Can you run? Can you run? What is your time? No gear, you know, and not, let's be honest, if you can get half a mile away, or, you know, sometimes even less, off the X, off of something, you know, whatever, then you're doing pretty good. If you're in the city or whatever, you know, you might have to walk like 2, 3, 4, 5. You might have to run a mile and a half to get away from whatever the fuck's going on in the city. Well, sometimes, mostly just a block. So sprinting, can you sprint? What are your time? What's your time on a 40 yards, right? Going back to football standards. Oh my God, mine's probably like a 10 seconds on a 40, maybe 13. I don't know. I'm slow, but I can still sprint. I can still run. I do my wind sprints. I haven't timed anything yet, but I suck. I'm old, but I can still do it. I can, can you get off the X? If you're like, say, in the city and shit pops off, can you run? Can you run and get the fuck out of there as quickly as possible? If you can't, then you might want to, think about that. Adding that to one of your abilities. Because we're talking about prepper fitness, and these are the worst of them, right? These are the hardest of them, actually. The running, the hiking, the carrying heavy loads for a long distance as fast as you can. So sprinting. That's why I've been working on the wind sprints, and they suck. Let me tell you, but they're getting better. They're getting better. Some other things. Running with gear. Totally different, and it really sucks. And you increase the ability to hurt yourself. Incurring injury is more likely because you're running with heavy loads. Your joints, your ankles, your knees, your back, your shoulders, your neck, all those things start to take a lot more stress than, say, you were just running with no gear, right? So that's my next phase, is wind sprints with gear. Yeah. That's going to suck. That's cardio. That's straight up cardio. All cardio right there. So eat some pasta, wait a couple of hours, go run some wind sprints. And just keep going. I mean, your heart's going to have to pump. So you need good health, good heart health. Working into this slowly, right? Knowing your strengths and your weaknesses, trying not to do more. That's my problem. Is I try to just I try to do the most extreme right off the bat, and it sucks. You get your wind sprints. Can you run? Can you flat out just run right now? Just go. That getting off the X, getting to someone who needs help. Can you carry someone? Can you literally pick somebody up, fireman's carry, and carry them to safety? That sucks. Because now you're talking about 120 to 200 something pounds that you're having to carry someone or drag them, right? This is mainly military standard stuff, right? Which makes sense. If shit pops off, this is what you're gonna have to do, right? This is the unromantic side of shift. Running from cover to cover, grabbing somebody, bringing them back to cover, to friendly lines, so that you can work on them or get somebody to work on them, right? Get them to safety. That's very important. And I hear this. Oh well, I'm just going to use a lean-to or a litter, a carrying litter. Well, you don't have time. Joe Schmuckatelli in your group just got shot in the leg. I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta go get him. Cover me, everyone. Provide cover fire, suppressive fire. I'm gonna run out there and Dudley Do-Right this shit. Can you carry somebody or drag them? Can you swim? How far can you swim? Swimming. We don't think about swimming. And I'm not talking about, crossing a river. I'm thinking, you know what? I'm in a boat. Maybe I chose to bug out in a boat. And boom, my fucking canoe or kayak just tips over or starts to sink. Can I actually swim across a lake? You'd be surprised at how many people can't go a distance. I mean, there's ways and means that you can do it. If you take like survival swimming and shit, they say just do the backstroke. It really is. It's the easiest way for you to float, and it's the easiest way for you to literally tread water without exerting a lot of effort. But can you flat out swim? Over what do you call it, the Olympic swimming? Just boom, 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 boom. Michael Phelps that shit. Michael Phelps. Can you Michael Phelps out there? Can you swim underwater? How long can you hold your breath? Yeah, most people it's like 10, 15 seconds. Seriously. Maybe less than that. And swim underwater. It's harder than you think. To tell you the truth, I haven't swam in a long time. And then on top of that, which makes it easier, can you swim with your gear on? Now, if you got a backpack and it's waterproof, there's your flotation device. All you got to do is kick. But I remember, man, I had a hard time trying to pass swim call in boot camp, because you got your full, back in the day it was 782 gear. You had your full 782 gear, and they throw you into a fucking pool with a rubber rifle. You got a rubber rifle, fake rifle. It's the same weight, and they throw you in there, and you just literally just sink to the bottom. You got your boots on, you got your camis on, you got your little backpack maybe, right, or whatever, just 782 gear, right, and boom, I sank right to the bottom and freaked out. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I was drowning down there. So yeah, I was in swim remedial class, and I'm from the hood. I mean, there was no swimming. I mean, Tennessee, there was not really a lot of places to swim, unless you, what are you fucking doing, bro? Get out of my way. Yeah. Thank you. So, I'm in there with all the brothers. You're like, wait a minute. I'm the only white guy in there. You're like, wait a minute. What the fuck? What? You're white and you can't swim? I was like, I'm from the hood. You're like, oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. So, ooh, right. So it took me a while. And throughout the course of, being in the Marine Corps, I was like, that's one of my weakest points, is swimming. With all that gear, all that shit. And there's another thing we had to do. We had to do helo dunk qual, where they literally take you to this specially designed pool. They put you in a fuselage of a helicopter. I think it was a CH-46. They had CH-46, CX-53, and you go in there, and then they submerge the fuselage, turn it upside down, and turn off the lights, and you got to find your way out of it. Yeah, can you do that? I mean, not that we'll ever, I ever, expect to be on a helicopter that, goes into the water, but you never know. I'm in Lake Erie. I mean, there is helicopters around here. So, but because I was like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm gonna learn how to swim, and I learned how to swim. Like, man, I was a beast. Still a beast. I can swim. I spent all my time going to the pond, going to the lakes, going to the pools, then going to the ocean. And I did some stupid shit. I would when I got out of the Marine Corps and went to South Carolina, I swam to 3 mile reef. I swam to 10-mile reef. I could swim like a fish, and I could do all the survival swimming too. I could, I learned how to tread water. I learned how to, carry somebody. The breaststroke, the left side, the right side. I would get on the beach in South Carolina, and I would swim out. I don't know, however far I could, way the fuck out there, where everybody's like looking at me like, oh my god, you're gonna be eaten by a shark. Yeah, it's fine. I was during the day I was okay. At night, that was a different story. But anyway, I would swim way the fuck out there, and then to come back, because we had riptides really bad. Riptides, these are riptides or tides that go to the left and to the right. They pull really, really hard. And so I would pick a point at the beach and try my best to swim straight, fighting the rip curl, the riptide. Rip curl. What's up, rip curl? Yeah, I would fight the riptide, and I became a beast. I mean, fucking beast. One of my exploits is that I was still in the Marine Corps at one time, and we did some parasailing, and I got out there and did some parasailing, and literally, I don't know why I did it. I just said, you know what, I'm doing it, and I unhooked from the parasailing. I don't know how far up I was. I unhooked and dropped into the water, crossed my legs, crossed my arms, put my hand around my nose, and boosh, down I went. And they tried to come get me, and I swam underwater. I treated it like an E&E. I was young and stupid, man. I think I was like 20, 21. I don't know. I was really young. And I swam underwater to evade the jet skis. And of course I had to come up, and they found me. The cops were there. They're like, hey, come on in, buddy. Come on in. Yeah, you're going to jail. I was like, nope. It's like, you got to come in eventually. I was like, nope. I literally swam all the way. It was in Myrtle Beach, at the south end of Myrtle Beach, the very south end of it. It was a place called Damon's. And after that, going south was a state park, and so that's what I did. Is I kept swimming. They just send jet skis after me, and I just go underwater and just evade them. The cops didn't have jet skis for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, all the workers, they tried to come get me with the jet skis. Didn't work. I would just go underwater and just swim. They'd lose me. Like, where the fuck is he? I don't know. So I kept going south, and I went in. I went into that state park, and that's where I came into the state park off the shore, and then walked through the woods back to where the hotel was, and that was my adventure. So I mean, that was in the early days. Could I do that again? With some difficulty, but yeah, I can swim. But I did some training to do it. Oh, come on, y'all. What's the other things? Can you lift heavy things like over and over again? Can you lift logs? Can you lift rocks? Can you work like you're working on a farm? You're working on, You're throwing 50-pound bags of feed everywhere. Can you unload a truck? Can you load a truck? Can you what is your limit as far as like how much you can carry? Come on, y'all, just go. Fuck these guys. Just go. Just fucking push it. Push it. Push it. Alright, whatever. We stuck then. We stuck because you ain't got no balls. I don't know, there's a bunch of fucking equipment out here, and they're working, and it's only a 2-lane highway, so yeah. got no flag man. So anyway, we got past it. You know, can you lift heavy things? Can you lift bushels of corn? Can you can you lift things? At least 50 pounds. Do that over and over and over again. I don't know. I mean, but a lot of you homesteaders, y'all are built like tanks. Oh my God, that's all y'all do. I'm gonna shout out Hutch. He's digging fucking boulders out of his yard and moving them around. Like he's doing a strongman contest. And he's building things with the rocks. So think about that. You're on your lands or whatever. You're anywhere. Maybe you're at your bug out location, or maybe you're just like hunkered down in the woods somewhere. Can you lift logs? Move them out of your way. Can you lift, rocks? Even with mechanical leverage, right? Mechanical advantage. Use the lever and pulley system. I don't know. You still need some upper body strength. You need some leg strength. You gotta push things. You gotta pull things. You gotta lift things. Can you lift these things over and over and over again for like a hard day's work? Lifting heavy things. That's very important. Or do you have a youngin that can do it for you? I mean, but still, you're gonna have to do something. All right. I'm just saying, like, prepper fitness. I think of like prepper fitness as like a farm boy or farm girl, or, working on a farm, working on a homestead. That kind of fitness is what you need. Rugged, being able to lift heavy things, pick things up, put things down. I pick up heavy thing, I put down heavy thing. You don't have to be that strong, but can you do it over and over and over again? Say 50 pounds. Yummy. What's another good prepper fitness idea? I mean, arm curls, something. Can you do something meticulously over and over and over and over again? Like say you're processing firewood, and you got a little hatchet in your hand, and you're trying to process all this firewood for the winter, right? And whatever you say, you've got if you've got a log splitter and all that, so you still got to pick it up, put it on there. You still got to, lift these things and put them in your log splitter. Can you do that, 500 times in one day? You cut that log, you cut that tree down, you cut that log, you got to move it. You're clearing land. You're building structures. Building, you've got to move things. You've got to be able to move a lot of weight over and over and over again. It might be you got a pallet of 2x4s, right? You got a shipment of 2x4s, and you're trying to frame a house, frame a shed, or whatever. And you're trying to build something. You're gonna have to move that shit. And say you've got 100 2x4s that are 14 footers, 2x6s, whatever. The thicker they are, the longer they are, the heavier they will be. So, oh God. And yeah, you learn how to use advantage, learn how to cheat. You learn, how things work. Wow, it's really getting dark out there. Can y'all see that? We're about to get some storms, yo. I can feel it. What other kind of fitness, holding things. Can you hold something for a very long time? You know? Can you just have that, what's it called? Isometric. Yeah. Can you push on something for a very long time, hold it back, right? Holding back the tide, or you're hanging on to a rope, you know, and you got to hang on to this rope for dear life because you're hanging off a cliff. No, maybe you're holding something up, you know, maybe you got to hold something up, and so you got to have good grip strength, good arm strength, forearm strength, good biceps, you know. Say you gotta move barrels around, like I said, and you need some good core strength. You know, being able to get out there and work hard, even if you're in the garden, you know, you're doing something repetitive over and over and over again. You know, you got your hoe. I ain't talking about strawberry. I'm not talking about strawberry, the neighborhood hoe. I'm talking about your hoe, right? Your hoe that you dig in the ground and plant seed, a garden implement, right? A tool. Maybe you got a spade shovel. You know, maybe you got a rake. You know, can you rake everything up and create this garden? You're gonna need some, you know, some stamina, some good grip strength, good cardio. You're gonna have good breathing. Your cardiovascular's got to be in good shape. You know, it's hot out there, right? You're gonna be sweating. You know, trying to prepare your garden. It's a good workout. You know, that's how I did rehab for myself when I broke my ankle. Is I just started doing yard work. And it was great therapy. Great therapy. Playing with mulch, digging holes, cutting things, cutting down trees and bushes, you know, planting things, damn, cutting grass. You know, here I am just, you know, fucking limping around in my cast and boot, you know, and I'm doing all kinds of fucking work. It was good therapy. It was really good therapy. It built me back strong. So yeah, good grip strength. You know, you got to be in good shape. Fairly good shape. Now to do all that spicy camping things, I mean, yeah, that comes with time. You know. You know, you take an 80-pound pack and have to walk like fucking 100 miles. You've got to have some good will, determination, and stamina, endurance, because you're doing this trek, and it's a trek. Look up the meaning trek. You know, this massive bug out, 200, 300, 500 miles, you know, whatever. You're going to waste away. I mean, you're going to be caloric deficient all the time. All the time. You're going to waste away. I mean, your muscles are going to start to atrophy and start eating themselves. You're going to be praying for fatty bacon. Give me fatty bacon. Where's my biscuits and gravy? Need to bulk up. I mean, imagine being a marathon runner, but worse. You know, you've got a heavy ass pack. You're trying to walk hundreds of miles, even 50 miles. Man, grueling, brutal. I know, because I like to say I used to be a professional backpacker for the government. So yeah, you've got there's a bit of fitness that needs to be, you know, addressed. You know, I mean, and even think about doing the remedial stuff. The less physical taxing things, like canning. Each one of those cans weighs a lot. That canner weighs a lot. You got to be able to move things over and over and over, repetitious, right? You gotta process. Say you slaughtered a cow, or you killed a deer, or whatever. You've got to have some dexterity and hand-eye coordination. Working that knife and cutting everything, processing everything. You're gonna need a lot of water. So you're gonna have like 5-gallon buckets full of water here and there. 5 gallons times 8, that's like 40 something, 50 pounds, right? So think about what it takes physical wise to be a prepper, to be prepper fitness. I like this idea, prepper fitness. And you know what? Most of y'all out there already have this kind of standard for fitness. I mean, you moms out there, I don't know how y'all do it. Wrangling kids all for like 18 years, or however long it takes for them to. I mean, even all the way up to like 15 years old, I see moms still woman handling their sons and daughters, right? You gotta snatch them up sometimes. Carrying babies. Babies get heavier every year. The more you feed them, the heavier they get, right? And they require a lot of gear, right? Kids require a lot of shit. I mean, mostly. You think about babies with diapers, formula, and you better have a first aid kit for each kid. So that should be a standard, right? So I mean, and you ladies are you super soccer moms out there with your minivans full of like 18 kids, and they're all going to soccer practice and football and lacrosse and ballet or whatever, dance, band, whatever extracurricular activities. You women, I seen one woman. She was walking down the street, and she was small framed, and she had a car seat with a kid in it, and she was curling that kid and sticking with that. Then she had a backpack with all this stuff in it, and then she was carrying a bag and holding another kid's hand walking down the street. I was like, wow, that's a lot of weight, a lot of weight. And she was walking down the street, going to the store, whatever, coming back from the store. She went shopping, and she took all the kids with her, a baby and a little kid. Things are heavy. Things are heavy. I mean, think about your car. I mean, can you lift that tire? Can you change a tire? Simple shit. Prepper fitness. Prepper fitness. So thank you very much for hanging out with me for this this Zoot report, Sunroof edition. Something to think about. Thank you all. Have a good night, and it's Friday Eve, everyone. Skull.